Okay, so Benzino and his daughter, Coi LeRay, were recently trending because they have fallen out once again over the Angie Martinez interview that Coi recently did. In the interview, Coi stated that she struggled when she was younger to the point that her mom, and her siblings were once evicted from their home, slept in hotels, and in their car once, which is why she comes from the trenches. Now, of course, people are looking at Benzino like how when Benzino was a several times over millionaire throughout his career. Benzino wanted to set the record straight, so he completely discredited Coi's struggles and then blamed Busta Rhymes and Angie Martinez for exploiting Coi and using Coi to get back at him, while also helping Coi to paint a negative picture of him. Benzino also blames the industry for using a negative narrative, the absent black father narrative, or the black kids struggling before they make it narrative, which according to Benzino is the narrative that is being used to boost Coi's career in the rap industry.
And what I called you for? Yeah, I called you for some money. I made you. You didn't make me. And what I called Ray Ray and everybody else. I'm supposed to. Who the fuck else am I supposed to call? What the fuck is the matter with this generation and you kids, man? Y'all are Angie knew what she was doing. She don't like me. Angela Yee knew what she was doing. She don't like me. But you had no problem with disrespecting the fucking man that brought you here. I had you. You didn't have me. My career, I did fucking things. Amazing things. I'm proud of what you're doing, but Coi, you ain't done this shit or made the money that I made. You couldn't walk in my fucking Adidas for an hour. How can you get on here and say that you're a clout? I'm using you for clout. Coi. Your first record was disrespecting me. Your first record that Universal allowed was you disrespecting your father. In that narrative of me not being there and you had to come out and sell drugs and you had to overcome all these obstacles. No. You was bad. Your mother sent you down to live with me in Atlanta. You couldn't cope with that because I wasn't going for the shit that she goes for and went for. So I don't know if there was some anger because of that, but that's all how I knew to be a father.
Now, at first glance, and based off of how Benzino responded, I thought this was a typical case of, Coi was raised by a single mother. Coi ends up being somebody and making money, and then the father wants to come back in the picture now after the child has grown up to be somebody and is making a bunch of money. Now the parent want to come back in the picture and ask for money or ask for some some help or some aid or something like that. And that's what I thought at first glance, okay? At first glance, until I decided to look further into this story.
We went through really rough times. Like, we hit rock bottom to the point where, like, I remember coming home from school and it's an eviction notice on our door.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Did you put the lock on it? You didn't get
the lock wasn't there. It was the notice on when you gotta leave by.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, we didn't have. It was hard to eat. My mom was picking up nickels and dimes, and then I would see my father like online or whatever. He was, even when the Love and Hip Hop and all kind of shit was going, but at the same time, I'm like this. I'm like, yo, how you get to live this life and we over here struggling? But I'm looking at my mom like, why are you not going to college or something or trying to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just mad at the world. Like, what the hell is going on? So I realized I really had to separate myself. We done slept in cars, hotel rooms, one hotel room with all of us in it. I done sold drugs. I done worked at Dunkin' Donuts, fucking registers, A&P Supermarket, Palermo's Bakery, and like, I done it all. To the point where it's like, I felt like I wasn't growing in my household. There was no growth there.
Because it is definitely not uncommon to see, people in sports, rappers, celebrities, entertainers, black, where they were raised by their single mother. And then when they became somebody and started making money, their father wanted to come back in the picture. We've seen this several times before, which makes it very common to see. Now, before I get started, let me first give a bio on both Benzino and Coi LeRay so that we have a glimpse of who and what and the mindset of who we're dealing with, because it matters.
Oh, am I using you as a clout kid? Do you know, Coi, when me and your mother broke up, the $800,000 new house in Upper Saddle River, not Saddle River, we moved from the mansion to Upper Saddle River. Remember, I got indicted by the feds and I lost everything. I got indicted by the feds and I lost everything. Now, I go back. Fuck the music industry. The street is there for me. I take my right back to Boston or any block in this country and get it. Because that's what I did. For real. But we started Hip Hop Weekly. We moved on. I moved to Miami. But I gave your mother a house. Now before that, I was giving your mother $4,000 a month allowance. 4 G's a month for a few years. She could have took some of that money and saved it. She could have opened up a business. When I gave her the house, Coi, you, Taj, Kwame, and Marnie, when I gave her the house, like the 4 or 5 bedroom house, I was still spending $2,500 a month when we broke up. The mortgage was $1,800 a month. She said she couldn't afford it. I got no problems with Asia. I'm not disrespecting Asia, I'm not disrespecting your mother, but I'm telling my fucking truth because I'm tired of you lying on me and making. You don't understand, Coi, right? I represent a lot of in that town, in Roxbury and Dorchester. But I can't let you come on the internet and ruin my reputation. How are you a clout kid? How am I using you for clout when I'm your storyline since day one? I thought it was over with. I thought after Rolling Loud, which you treated me like I was one of the fucking stagehands. It ain't no secret I'm not doing as better than I was, but I don't give a I don't care about, that's not what it is about me. Money didn't make me. I've had millions, and I've spent it on you, your mother, your 2 older brothers, Taj, and your uncle, Jason. Shout, that's my heart, paralyzed. I took care of everybody, and you knew that. Since No More Parties, you've been using me as your storyline, and you still doing it. You talking about your truth, that's not your truth. I struggled, I sacrificed, I sold drugs so you didn't. And I know that sounds cliche-ish, but in this case, that's how it happened. And your mother's not going to get on here and defend me because you take care of her. You tell me I've survived everything, but I'm going to let my daughter take me down? It ain't going to happen, Cece. Princess. When you was 3, you had minks and diamonds on in Ray Ray's video, Shine Like My Son, where I brought other fathers and their kids. Stevie, Nori, Ja, where y'all at? Y'all supposed to be my fucking brothers. Say something. You was there when I was taking care of her. You seen what the fuck I was. Where the fuck are all my friends at that seen me taking care of this little girl and ain't saying what the fuck, man? God damn, man.
Now, while looking up, looking into what's going on between Benzino and his daughter, I did find where there were really 3 main questions that people were asking. So I'm going to go ahead and just put them out there before we get into the bios and let you guys think on those. And like always, if you know me, I have my own perspective on what I think is going on between the 2 of them. And so I'll give you guys my perspective on that. But before then, here are the questions. So question number 1 is it okay for a parent to ask their adult kids for money? Or if you are the family member who is making big money, should you help take care of your family if they don't have it? The next question that is being asked is, should family business be aired out to the world? Anything like interviews, social media posts, music, even in comedy, people air out, what's going on in their family. And so the question is, should any of that be put in put out there for the world to hear. And then the last thing that I kept seeing was, is Benzino jealous, envious, using Coi for clout, or trying to sabotage Coi's career? Now, of course, I'm going to answer all of those and give my opinion. But before I do so, let's get into these bios.
I got to make some money around here. Like, who's going to pay the bills? We got eviction notices. We hungry.
What are your brothers doing?
And they in the streets. It's every man for themselves. My brother has 2 daughters, my nieces. So, he was doing what he had to do for them. My brother, he also did some time in jail or whatever. We was all figuring it out. I'm telling you, after that, it was like, what's next? We really depended on, I feel like, my father to fill in that void of just giving us that guidance. Everybody, even my brothers, even though those not his sons, it's just having that person to kind of just teach you about life before you actually enter it on your own.
How's everybody must be so proud of you now.
Yeah.
How does your father deal with this success? Because that's got to be triggering for him in a lot of ways too. Triggering, or maybe he's just proud, or maybe I don't know.
At first it was rocky because I felt like he couldn't handle my success. I felt like it did come from an envious place, which is okay because he's human and it's fine. But I felt like, he still wants. Like, he's one of those people that feels like, I still have a story to tell. I still feel like something, I have to say something. Like, no. He's like, I have to say something. Like, he's one of those people like, let me at him.
The same way you just said that no matter what happens in this business, you're not going to let it go.
Right, but it is. It's crazy because I have a song called Man's World on my album. It's literally, it is about my father. And I actually speak about how, one of the lyrics is, hate to admit it, I'm just like you. And it's facts, but I'm able to learn and I'm a better version because, like I said, relationships go a long way. And being a good person, this is all I want. Like, I want to be the biggest.
Now, Benzino's real name is Raymond Leon Scott. He has 4 kids, with Coi LeRay being his only daughter out of his 4 kids. Benzino is 58 years old and is a TV personality, a rapper, a record producer, a songwriter, and was at one point in time the co-owner of the Source magazine between the years of 2005 and 2010. Now, of course, I can't go on to Coi's bio without mentioning the Source magazine's bio. So now, the Source magazine was one of the top magazines in the 2000s. At one point, the magazine was the #1 selling music magazine in newsstands in America by 2009. Now, Benzino, in his heyday, was that guy when it came to the print culture of hip hop, particularly the rap industry. Yes, you had magazines such as Vibe, Double XL, Murder Dog, Don Diva, and even some of the older ones, Ebony, Essence, and Jet. All of those were magazines that did, talk about black culture and things like that. However, the Source magazine was in a league of its own. It strictly was the publication was based on the hip hop culture, rappers, things like that, those who were in the hip hop industry, things like that. That's what the magazine was based on. Okay, so let's give a little bit of bio on Coi LeRay. Now, Coi LeRay Collins is her name. She is a 26-year-old a rapper, songwriter. She hit it big when her song No More Parties viral on TikTok, which made it possible for her to work with big name artists such as Nicki Minaj and Busta Rhymes. Now, of course, she is still young. She's still working and building working on her craft and building, and she's still in the industry. So, as of right now, that's pretty much all she has going on in terms of her bio. But I wanted to give you guys both her and her father's bio because I do believe that it gives us insight into, what's going on, which is where my perspective comes from. Okay, so my perspective on this is that, first, I want to say this. There is no secret when it comes to the industry Any industry, it doesn't matter if it's the movies, if it's entertainment, if it's sports, if it is music, whatever. The industries will come in and they will exploit the little black, kid who come from nothing, who did not have, a father, whatever. They will exploit that pain and that trauma. And that is how a lot of our music was born. Soul music was born that way. Was born, where black people, we are coming out, we are singing about our traumas. We're singing about the pain that we went through. Gospel music, this is how you get songs like Never Would Have Made It. Songs like that, where it just touches you in a way because it touches that part of us where it's like there's some type of trauma bonding element. Jazz, country music, the blues, rap, all of that is is a byproduct of black people coming out and telling their stories, writing poetry. So there's a connection there. And even we as a people, a lot of times we don't even realize that we do this, but we'll say things like, oh, I just know that next album that Summer Walker is going to put out is going to be fire because, Summer Walker, all that pain that she went through with her baby daddy, I just know, ooh, go put that pain in your music. And we actually promote that. We actually encourage that, because for a lot of us, that's the only way we can feel the music. That's the only way we can feel things is when we are trauma bonding with stuff, when it's that trauma bonding element in there. Hey, this is how we get movies like The Blind Side, where you had Sandra Bullock, in the movie come in, got this black kid who, was on the streets, didn't come from a stable family, and then clean him up and send him off to make millions of dollars, and, the white savior thing. So that's a real thing. So, now on the flip side of that, I can understand why Benzino would want to come out and want to restore his reputation, because also what is a thing is that deadbeat father thing, right? Black fathers who are not there. That is a thing, and that is something that does get exploited in these industries. And so I can see why he would want to come out and clear that up if, in fact, that was true, what Coi said about, her having to sleep in her car and things like that. Okay, so let's get to the questions, the 3 questions that I asked earlier. I'm going to give you guys my opinion. So the first one was about, should the parent ask the child for money, right? So my thing is this: it really depends on the relationship that you have with your child. Like, if you were never around when your kid was growing up and you didn't really have a hand in raising them like that, and y'all really then solidify the relationship like that, I really don't think that the parent has a right to ask the child for money. Neither do I think the parent has a right to ask the child for money, just period. Because this is the thing, kids don't ask to be here. So when you decide to, do what you do, and then now a kid is on the way, that kid now becomes your responsibility. Everybody knows this. So the kid is not responsible for making something out of themselves after you have raised them, and then, having to support you, or your kids are not responsible for that. But again, I think it all boils down to the relationship that you have with your kid. Like, if you have a good relationship with your kid and the kid is able, freely able to help and support and do stuff like that, then why not? But I do not think that they are responsible for that. So that's my opinion on that. Okay, so the next question is, should family business be aired out to the world? In interviews, social media posts, music, comedy, even TV shows, any of it. I personally would say no, but I'm a very private person. So I just don't think that that's a good thing. Because on top of that, like, most of the time when people are doing this, they're putting that stuff out on the internet. Most of the time, 99.99% of the people who are going to be responding cannot help you. They cannot help you mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. None of the ways they can. Most of the time, they're not going to be able to help you. Social media is not your therapist. However, I do understand that there are different reasons as to why somebody may turn to social media, and depending on the why also depends on, whether or not they should do that. I think if it's gonna, interfere with your safety, then it may not be a good idea. If it has anything to do with, dealing with somebody who could potentially turn or be dangerous towards you because you aired them out, then you may not want to do that. But again, I do get that, some people will put stuff out there as a way to kind of time stamp or put a receipt to how they were feeling in that moment, in the case that, this comes back up. You know what I'm saying? Because social media is used in court cases. I mean, that's just the day in which we live in. And then lastly, do I think that Benzino is jealous or envious, or is using Coi for clout, or is trying to sabotage,
go online
daughter?
and just
I just
to create craziness for no reason, make up things, try to make it seem like I just don't, it just has to stop. And if you notice, it has been a pattern for some time now, a pattern since he went on Clubhouse and did the whole blick situation and leaked the fact that I had the record with Nicki, since he went and tried to downplay my album sales on Trendsetter, since he went and tried to, like, it just seems like every single time, instead of you congratulating me and be happy for me, you want to go online and try to use me to prove yourself to these people in this industry on why you feel like you didn't get the respect or whatever it is that you deserve. I don't want to be your clout kid. I'd rather us, again, just hit me offline, hit our family, and other than that, I'll never, ever, ever mention anything in any more interviews ever again. You don't call, you don't write, but you take everything to the internet, and you get on the internet, and you try to play this, I don't know, you try to just whatever. Try to downplay me, try to make it play victim, try to make it seem like I'm attacking you, try to make it seem like my intentions is to hurt you, and that's never the case here. I don't have to get on here and lie about struggle. I don't think anybody wants to do that. But yeah, I think that's corny. I have a mugshot. I asked my mom. I'm not gonna. We don't even want to put my other family in this because I think that's kind of not what I'm here for. If I don't get on here and say something, and it takes me everything in me to get on live and do this, especially again in the most precious times in my career. But for some reason, these blogs, right, like my entire career, it seems like they've just been trying to take over my story, take over my narrative, take over my career. And if I don't say something, if I don't defend myself, if I don't speak up, then I'm going to allow these blogs to tell my story, to tell y'all who I am. And I don't think that's fair to me. Yep. I don't have to speak on this ever again. He made it very clear that he never wants to speak to me again. Again, the interview was done in June. I haven't said anything since. But respectfully, I just wish that we could just kind of just keep everything offline moving forward. If you have anything to say, you can call Grandpa Tito, you can call my mom, just like how you called me last week asking for what you asked for. You could have just hit me direct. Like, I'd rather you just do that on a respectful level of just me being your daughter at the end of the day. Like, we don't gotta have a relationship, but I'm still
don't believe that. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that. I don't think that. And again, I don't know him personally, but it just does not appear that that's what's going on. I think Benzino has some, unresolved issues with the music industry for how the music industry handled him when he was in it as a rapper, or how the music industry handled him when he was in it, when he was, co-owning the Source magazine, and kind of how he left and got somewhat, pushed out or whatever like that, if you will. Like, I think that because he has a lot of unresolved issues with how things went when he was in that industry hard and making money and stuff like that, and known for those things, because right now he's really just known for, the TV personality, because there's a whole new generation that has come in. And the new generation does not know Benzino as a rapper, a songwriter, a producer, or even know him as a co-owner of the Source magazine. The newer generation know him as Love and Hip Hop. You know, he was a personality on Love and Hip Hop and Marriage Boot Camp and all these other things. So I think that because of his unresolved issues with the industry, that it leaks over into his relationship with his daughter and how she's handling herself in the industry. But I just don't think that he is jealous or envious of Coi. It just doesn't, it makes no sense. He's a grown man, and to be in some type of like competition or some type of, you know, weirdness with his daughter over an industry would just, to me, it's just weird. But those are my thoughts. You guys get in the comments section and tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys take care. Bye.